Back here on the program, Jones and Company, and our guest on the program today is the Honorable Minister of Agriculture, Marine Resources, Godfrey.
Minister.
And local government, right?
Yes.
Yes.
I don't want to dwell on Auckland, but I'm looking at the southeastern Bahamas per se. We as a country have had an economy based on tourism and financial services. In my opinion, we have not utilized our natural resources as best we can to the country's benefit. And the salt industry, for example, has been principally a supplier of raw material. We supply the raw salt. In Auckland, for example, the cascarilla, a valuable product, we've been used as a raw material to supply the Italians for the production of Bacardi and other things, right? Campari. Our fishing resources. You know, Jones and I were in Auckland, and the fellow said he had a bag of fish. And Jones said, well, I don't want a bag of fish. But the fellow said, if you want, you got to clean them. You know, the point I'm making, Minister, we have to find a way that we can create out of our natural resources the industrialization of those resources. We should have a cascarilla plant in Auckland producing cascarilla oil and its byproducts. We should have some sort of salt factory producing salt products out of Inagua. And the list goes on.
A fish processing plant.
You know, utilizing these natural resources.
Everything you have spoken to is on point. The difficulty I have in analyzing reasons for or reasons why not, that's where I don't know why those things haven't happened. But I do know that in Inagua, the salt company is doing extremely well. That success have not so far filtered to the other islands in the southeast. Every one of those islands, I'll go as far as to say every island in the Bahamas has some form of natural resource.
Exactly, yeah.
The government has made in the recent months a policy decision to ensure that BAIC, which also falls within my ministry's portfolio, go after those natural resources with a view to ensuring that the Bahamian benefit from whatever is extracted, whether it's salt, whether it's sand, whether it's other rocks or minerals, or BAIC has been given that responsibility. And I am satisfied if I say that the leadership at BAIC, Mr. Forbes, under his chairmanship, they've been doing a good job in creating the awareness, and studies have been done recently to show what is available and how it could be used for the economic benefit of the country. Now, the government of its own accord may not be able to do these things as a government. So hopefully when we expose what is possible, some private-public partnership or some private investor may be interested in extracting these things for a good return to the people of the Bahamas. And so it is hard for the government to do everything from its treasury. Trust me on that.
I agree.
And so the most you can do is encourage
and identify
and give assistance to private investment. And if it becomes necessary, public-private partnership.
You about creating the environment for people to do business, for Bahamians to thrive in their own country.
Yes.
I've been to Spanish Wells. The fishermen in Spanish Wells are disgusted that they do not get the kind of protection from the government of the Bahamas. The fishermen talk about the fishing grounds in the southeastern islands of Auckland and Crooked Island, that
Great Bahama Bank?
around that area,
Yeah.
where there's a tremendous amount of poaching and where they are not able to fish. We talk about plants. Shouldn't there be by now a substantive effort by the government of the Bahamas to create facilities, to facilitate your citizens in these islands better? You know, we hear about national development plans and all the rest of it. You know, you are past the halfway mark in this term. And the people out there don't see too much being done, you know. You're past the halfway mark. And fishermen are complaining that their livelihood is threatened. They're not making money from fishing in the Bahamas as they used to. We're going backwards.
Okay, Brother Jones, if I could, it seemed to me that all of your observations are worth listening to. But there is got to be a case made for the present government's position on this matter. When we came to office in 2012, there were four Defense Force boats in operation, too small for ocean-going activities. The government, in a year or so ago, made a conscious decision to invest $230 million in Defense Force vessels, 3 of which have already arrived, and every month or every other month, another one will arrive. The first thing you've got to do, in my view, is to position the Defense Force to do its work, and they can only do it with ocean-going vessels. The former government did not invest in the Defense Force in those regards. So the 5 years they spent, if they had put 1 vessel per year on the line, we would have at least met 5 vessels ready to go. I'm saying you can't stop poachers with conch shell and cutlass. You need boats. The government has just invested contractually in providing 9 such boats for the Defense Force. I'm saying we are trying, and any reasonable person would accept that in 2.5 years the government had spent or committed $230 million to buy the Defense Force boats. If every government had done that over the last 10 years, this discussion wouldn't be necessary. So I'm saying the poaching problem was worsened because the Defense Force could not go out where they need to be to prevent the poachers from coming where they go. And you can only do it by boats.
Okay, fine, good. You missed the point of creating economic activities for your residents, your citizens.
Oh, I thought you were talking from Spanish Wells, went on. That's the lean I took.
Yeah. But fishing is in decline.
Right.
You're the Minister for Marine Resources, right?
Right.
It's in decline in that area. Gottfried mentioned about going to these islands and not being able to come back with processed fish or lobster or whatever else. It seems to me that with 2015 here, that at this juncture in our development, that such facilities should be in place.
No, listen, you know, we're on the same page with respect to that. I don't think the government is ever going to get involved in fish processing as a government.
No, not the government.
And I'm saying they buy the fish from those islands, you know, but they bring the fish to New Providence to be processed. So it seemed to me that those who are able to buy prefer to buy from Acklands and Crooked Island and transport it here rather than set up a facility there. The question might be best put to those who are in that business so that they could tell us why they don't see the need to have a processing plant rather than buy the fish and bring it here.
Gotta take a break. This is Jones and Company. We'll come right back.